You can, two white people laying down together, they can only produce white. But two black people in darkest Africa can lay down together and produce albino with blonde hair and blue eyes.
That's right. Teach, Muhammad.
This happens all the time. And so we need to really get these facts correct today and understand that as gray as your hair is, you are listening to your father today.
Teach, Muhammad.
This is daddy talking.
Teach.
And we mustn't turn. No, this is
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in? I'll go first.
Sorry about the hair. I'm just off the wake up. But one conspiracy theory I believe in, which isn't really one that's made a conspiracy theory though. Not that the earth is flat or anything, but that it's way bigger than we actually believe it is. And I feel like that because I saw a video a while ago about somebody saying that there's a whole continent out there the size of the United States that we haven't touched yet. Of course, this interview was back in like the 1900s, 1800s type time. So by now, I'm assuming we found that continent, which is why there's a world government in Alaska or whatever to stop people from getting off the tour and possibly getting blasted for not minding their business. But, yeah, I believe there's way more out there on this planet. It don't gotta be flat, but it ain't as small as we think it is.
Once you were old enough, what were the dark family secrets you were finally let in on? My uncle wasn't missing a ton of birthday parties, family reunions, holiday dinners, etc. when I was a kid because of his really busy job, but because he became a heroin addict after his wife took off with their daughter, my cousin who I've still never met. Edit. Oh yeah, he also tried to stab my aunt, his sister, in a drug-fueled rage when she went off on him about being a bum and exploiting my grandparents' kindness. My grandpa stopped him but got beaten unconscious in the process. My grandparents' neighbor heard the commotion and had to rush in and stop him at gunpoint. I legit thought he was just a normal, nice guy who I happened to rarely see before I learned all this shit in one night.
I want to give a quick update with Billy Boy. There's some new coincidences that I just found out about, and I'm just convinced now this guy is the best fortune teller that I've ever seen. So we got an article from WebMD. FDA approves new drug against weaponized smallpox. This is June 10th, 2021. The FDA approved a new drug to treat smallpox. June 10th. Now here's where Dr. Billy Boy comes in. On November 4th, Dr. Billy Boy warned of a smallpox terror attack and urged leaders to use germ games to prepare. Now look at this coincidence. On November 16th, the FBI is now investigating vials labeled smallpox found in a lab near Philadelphia. So to sum it all up, right after the FDA approves of a drug to help fight smallpox, and right after Billy Boy warns of smallpox terror threats, there were 15 questionable vials of smallpox found.
January, a boat of about 20 people went missing going through the Bermuda Triangle. January 3rd, they called off the search for them. It gets weirder. Just 2 days ago, a boat of 20 people with 2 children washed up on the Turks and Caicos, and everybody was dead. I'm not kidding. What happened? What are your theories?
Did you know, in the trailer for the Netflix show Inside Job, if you play it in 0.25% speed and pause at just the right moment, there's a secret message you can see right here, and it says, "If you have found this message, we are impressed. Please call our recruitment number at 475-COGNITO to apply for a job at the Deep State." And if you call, it's actually a real phone number that plays a funny message.
We should not seek to communicate with them as it risks endangering man.
News broadcast goes on to say not to trust any of them because they don't come in peace. Is it me, or is that not the same rhetoric that they use with immigrants in America? I'm saying that to say this. Whatever they want to know, If they come to me, I'm telling.
So if you're somebody who's really into conspiracy theories, or if it's 3 a.m. and you're just bored, stop scrolling, just stop scrolling. So I somehow ended up on Reddit, but I found this thread that has basically all the conspiracy theories that we know so far. And it gets dark. So this is the conspiracy iceberg, and this is a picture. It's just so long that I had to screen record the entire thing and make it a video. As we go deeper under the iceberg, we get to the more darker conspiracy theories. And to me personally, I feel like the darkest conspiracy theories is God's ego death and God's last wish. At the top, we have more of the mainstream conspiracy theories, the ones that you probably heard of already. But the deeper you go down, this is where we get into a lot of the crazier theories that actually might hold some truth. I think one that's really crazy to me that I looked up was mountains or trees. That one's insane. But if you're looking for more of a mind-blowing theory, I would recommend Tesseract Universe and God's ego death. Okay, if we're gonna make this a series, I wanted to find the scariest conspiracy theory on this iceberg. Skinwalkers Ranch takes the fucking cake. This place is honestly so much more insane than Area 51. I'm using my 3-minute limit to really explain this entire situation to you guys. So this ranch sprawls over 500 acres across northeastern Utah. This is a satellite image to kind of show you guys how huge this ranch is. So the ranch caught media attention in the mid-1990s when the Sherman family purchased the ranch in 1994. And began sharing mind-blowing stories with the world. This place literally had the news in a chokehold. People thought there was a Bermuda Triangle in Utah, even the tea of aliens being highly involved in this area. So once the couple moved into the ranch and got settled in, Terry and Gwen Sherman were coming home one night and they were startled by the sight of a freakishly huge wolf or coyote. The animal started stalking towards their livestock, which Terry ended up taking out his gun, as rightfully so, and shooting the animal. But to Terry's surprise, the animal kind of just repelled his bullets, which put him in a state of shock. They said that the creature didn't seem hurt and simply just grabbed the cattle in its mouth and wandered back into the bushes. But the most unsettling part of their encounter with this beast was the foul stench that they said it had. It smelled like rotting human flesh. In the weeks and months to follow, Terry and Gwen, along with other visitors to the ranch, began seeing unidentifiable beasts moving throughout the woods. They would let out roars. They would also see strange flashes of lights in the woods, as well as large orange circles and blue spheres floating around in the sky. But the most disturbing thing that took place on this ranch was that the animals were dying in the most grotesque ways you could even imagine. Some of the dogs that they had and kept were found incinerated. Yes, incinerated on the property. Cows were found dismembered or drained of all of their blood like this, or even cored out with a hollow body with no organs inside. As you probably already realized, the government got involved in this. And when the government and scientists got involved, they were baffled at how these animals had their internals or organs removed. They said that the wounds were made with such a surgical precision that it just had to rule out coyotes or animals. Which then brings us into aliens. I promise you, this one just never stops. So if you're not from America, Utah and Colorado is where a lot of supernatural activity happens. And this is also when people started noticing crop circles were all over Skinwalker Ranch. And this is when people began noticing crop circles in the snow. Yes, you heard that right, snow crop circles. As well as lots more people in neighboring cities started also seeing blue lights flying around the sky. I think Colorado just had blue lights flying around in their sky like a week ago. But anyways, back to the scientists. Whenever they would work on the ranch, they would realize that a lot of their equipment was being damaged or broken by God knows what. Part 2? Okay, I don't know if I really 100% believe in this conspiracy theory, but it's really interesting to look at. But bear with me because this one is honestly a reach. So if you're familiar with conspiracy theories, you've probably heard about the Nephilim. They're these old biblical beings that were known to roam the earth back in, BC time. They've been finding the remains of these beings. I'm not sure if these are photoshopped, so kind of take this with a grain of salt. But a lot of these remains have been so-called found across the world. But the Nephilim were giant people, like giant people. And it was believed that the world around them was giant as well, and trees would reach to the heavens. I'm going to show you guys a tree, and then I'm going to show you a mountain. Okay, so this is a tree. This is a mountain. This is a tree. This is a mountain. These are all trees, and these are all mountains. Theorists also believe that the mountains out in Utah, Wyoming, California, all of these are actually old trees. But the similarities are definitely uncanny. I can definitely see why people believe this